Okay, another Max 10, doing another one of these. I think last one I said that I'm gonna make another one soon. Soon is a very subjective word, but al-umum. Finally got to work on another Max 10. I'm finally getting to work on like a lot of things. Yeah, college has been really taking up my time, and I haven't really had much time to draw. I don't really have much time to do much of anything other than like do my assignments. Really, it's just a lot of like typography, and there was 3D modeling, which is cool, but no one cares about that. Clockwork seemed kind of like a very straightforward one, so much so that I was actually kind of concerned that he's gonna be like a little boring, a little basic, because like, yeah, a lot of people have suggested the grandfather clock thing, and I think it's really cute, but I feel like that's also like the most obvious choice to go for, and it would be really cute, and if I saw a design like that, I would definitely be like, oh, that's amazing. But I was trying to think like, okay, there's something I want to say more weird I could go for. I think more weird is a good word. I wanted something weird. I wanted something you wouldn't think of immediately. So when you look up old clocks, you'll find a lot of something called the sundial. Basically what they used before they invented like clocks as we know them, like old clocks as we know them, when they used the power of the sun. But not really. It just worked off of shadows. Like the sun would cast a shadow, and then the shadow would infer like what time it is, and then the dial had like times for each time. It's pretty cool. So it's pretty cool, and it looks pretty cool, and I wanted to incorporate that into the design. But then I read some more just in case. I find something more interesting. I did find candle clocks, which were less of clocks and more of timers, I guess. It's kind of the same premise as an hourglass, and as something else I found called a water clock, which I also thought was really cool. Basically, the way all of these work is just like they have a time limit before they finish up. Time limit before the seine goes from one end of the hourglass to the other. Water is very similar to hourglasses, where it's just limited time until the water drips into the other container. Candle waxes worked in a similar way, but not exactly, where it was based on like how much time it took for the wax to melt. And then of course there's still the grandfather clock. At first I wanted to even try to incorporate a pendulum into his design, but I couldn't really find any way to put it in without it just looking like he was shaking his shaboing boing around. It's just not what I wanted to go for. So yeah, I mean I could have had it swing inside him, but I just started to get a bit too convoluted. And I think, like, because I couldn't pick what did I want to do for the alien, I sort of ended up just dumping them all in. Like, Clockwork, he really only has one part of him that actually looks like a clock, and it's the centerpiece of him. He has the key, which I guess kind of looks like the wind-up for, like, an alarm clock. I believe even, like, the ink tank have this design for him, where he has, like an alarm clock thingies on his shoulders, like the thing you press to which is really cool. I really dig that, actually. I kind of like went a little overboard. It's not really on the sketches. I was trying to experiment around with like what could like go in the design and where, and I ended up doing all three of them with the sundial on the center, which is it's perfect because it's round, the closest thing to like a round clock. And then I kind of fit the others elsewhere. Ended up mixing the candle clock and the water clock into one piece, like headpiece for the key. And I ended up putting the omnitrix on the back, which I'm always like an advocator of, if you like weird omnitrix placements. And I made his back kind of look like a grandfather clock, which I think is pretty clever. I managed to fit every idea into one, and hopefully he doesn't look too visually cluttered. For the color scheme, I did consider making him like look rusty, because I'm not an animator. Well, I am, but like I'm an animator on the show Ben 10, and I'm not actually like making character designs for an animation, so I can really just go overboard with like the details as much as I want, But I kind of decided against it because I don't know. I just feel like it makes him look more like an actual alien that's supposed to look like this. If he just has different colors instead of having rust on him, so I tried to go for like a color that looked a bit more aged, looked a bit like not aged, but it just looked older. Like it just looked more primitive, sort of. So I'm pretty happy with it. Jurig is gonna be next. He's gonna be a bit of a basic one, but that's okay because like, I mean, you don't really expect anything like out of the ordinary for Jurig. Part of the reason why it took so long to make a new Max 10 is because after I got done with uni for the year, I've been focusing on like doing a lot of things, and I think I've been doing a pretty okay job at that. Like I've been doing a lot of things. I haven't been doing just one thing like I usually do. I made a new Ben 10 AU as is customary to do like every once a few months. I got into Half-Life and I played Half-Life 1 and most of Half-Life 2. I've been drawing some Half-Life fan every now and again, which I'm really enjoying. I fucking love Half-Life. I'm so glad to finally be getting into the games. Got into Devil May Cry after that abysmal show dropped. I mean, I was already into Devil May Cry. Like after the show dropped, it made me replay the games and finally play 5 because I actually haven't played 5 before the show came out because for years I had like the most fucking ass PC laptop. I mean, and it didn't really allow for much for very hefty games. The MC4 was already running like shit on that laptop, so the MC5 was very out of the question. But yeah, so I got to play like the MC5 for the first time, and I fucking loved it. It's pretty awesome. So obviously after that I've been getting I got into a lot of Devil May Cry fan art, and I'm trying to still keep it going. I'm trying to not stop. I'm trying to like make fan art for multiple fandoms at the same time. Playing Deltarune now, which is exciting. There's gonna be a lot of Undertale Deltarune fan art. And again, hopefully I won't forget about Half-Life and DMC and Ben 10 all at the same time. I even made a DMC AU, which not much of those exist, I believe. DMC is not a very AU-heavy fandom. And I've been drawing more of my OCs, which is also fun. I've been neglecting my OCs a lot recently. And hopefully I'll be back to the level I was on summer of last year. Because I really miss that era and that feeling about myself of just pumping out art constantly every day. It's just too much. But like every few days there'll always be like a new drawing, and I was really happy with that because I love drawing and I love just making more and more and more and more. You know, I don't really run out of ideas because I'm always like moving from fandom to fandom, and there's no like lack of, and with fandoms especially, there's not really any lack of inspiration. It's kind of a beautiful thing about fandoms. There's so many other people who drew like their own AUs or their own Half-Life mods or their own interpretations of characters in their fan art. It really makes you want to like do something similar, or it gives you the idea to do something different, or something in between. You know, the show itself could like spawn a lot of ideas. It's kind of the whole thing of AUs and fan fiction and stuff. So yeah, hopefully Max 10 Jurig will be not too long in the future. But I can't promise it won't be another 4 months. It probably won't though, don't worry. Like I don't plan to only make one Max 10 this summer and then fucking never do anything again, right?